Hola y bienvenidos a todos por los Lobos de la Lucha.
Boop, boop, boop,
I'm gonna have an official thing for
boop.
us next week, I promise. I'm gonna write this down because I want to
Bienvenidos
be
todos,
for
bienvenidos.
reals. But welcome, bienvenidos, to all to one of my favorite review shows out here. Don't tell the other hosts I said this. Just kidding. No, but welcome back to Los Lobos de la Lucha, your CMLL review show here on the BC WrestlePod podcasting, YouTube, Twitch network, conglomeration, syndicate thing we do pretty much every single day of the week, except for Thursdays for some reason, on occasion. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, also known as El Jefe around the BC WrestlePod parts. And I have the full crew with me, but reunited, and it feels so good. But the whole squad is here tonight. First and foremost, I cannot do this show without him. He is our CMLL aficionado Gran Puba, the man with kind of a plan, Mr. Adolfo, the nerdy Puerto Rican. Rocking the tank top bros tonight.
That's right. That's right. Saludos, saludos, mi gente. Buenas noches. Good evening, my friends. If you're having a rough week or, whatever the case may be, please come and join us and be wrapped in this beautiful blanket that we call Lucha Libre, and feel its warm goodness, because it was warm and good this week, boys. Woo! Excited to talk about it.
Man, I love your excitement, and I'm also very excited. But of course, rounding out our trifecta of, Lucha Libre goodness, sandwiched in between me and Adolfo is Mr. Papa Oso himself, Will. Hi, Will.
Hello. If I'd gotten the memo about the wrestleware that we were supposed to wear tonight, I would have worn a tank top as well.
Hey, it is not too late. You just turn that camera off, go get a tank top, and then come back so it can all be matching.
Honestly, I don't know that I have a tank top, to be quite honest.
So what
we
you're
need to fix
telling,
that.
yeah. So what you're telling me and Adolfo is now we're going to send you tank tops.
Right.
I literally was
Serious.
like, do I have a tank top? I was like, I don't think I have any tank tops.
We will talk afterwards because spring break is around the corner, and we got to show all the goodies. Just like
Mhm.
CMLL showed us all the goodies of the goodness of Lucha Libre
Ooh.
for this past Viernes Espectacular. Like, my God, women's wrestling is just killing it in general. But
Yo.
like this past episode of Viernes Espectacular was amazing.
Oh yeah. And one, if not the reason why it was amazing. So we're gonna do this segue. Agent Lo-Fi, what's up? Saturday, March 8th was International Women's Day. CMLL celebrated International Women's Day on the 7th on this episode of Viernes Espectacular, where it was not only 100% Amazona wrestling, not only was it 100% female lucha libre, but all the refs were female presenting, the commentary was female presenting. It was literally from stem to stern female wrestling. And I know that on Saturday night we had the Tony Storm Mariah May match that a lot of people are saying is the greatest women's wrestling match in history. If you are a fan of women's wrestling, I implore you to find this episode of Viernes Espectacular, the March 7th Amazona show, and watch it. If you are a true fan of women's wrestling, this show is what you've been waiting for. Go ahead, Mikey. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox.
No, that's okay. I'm just saying, women's wrestling in general, especially this past week, has kind of been killing it. And honestly, it started with Viernes Espectacular, then dived into AEW Revolution, and then just like we got done talking about an hour ago, we had a fantastic main event where our Chilean mamacita Stephanie Varker is a double champ.
Yep.
So good. But let's dive into all the goodness. So we kick off this very amazing episode of Viernes Espectacular with a Relampago match.
Yep.
By the way, CMLL has probably some of my favorite pictures for these match cards ever now. I was like, shout out to the graphic team. Y'all are fabulous. Love you for this. Ooh. I need to go check out last year's though to compare, but my god, was this an amazing show this year.
Yeah, we are still we do have to add the caveat. We are still relatively new to watching CMLL. We started watching like May, June of last year and have been hooked since. So anything prior to that, we got to go back and check it out.
It is. But we kick things off, as I mentioned, with a Relampago match, which also has the subtitle of Guadalajara versus Puebla. So we have Valkyria versus Lady Metal in this particular match. I love this match so much. I was like, yes.
This was a great opener. Yeah.
Holy crap. Also, I don't know if it's context or what, but they intimidate me in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can I also say before we get into it too deep that there were so many women wrestlers that I didn't know.
Yes.
And that was the most amazing thing about this whole thing is
Yep.
I got to be introduced to new women's wrestlers for CMLL. And, we can never have too many. You can never have enough. Truly. Because I've said it 1,000 times. Sometimes the women are better than the men. And I say that even in like American style wrestling. Sometimes the women's matches are way better than the men's matches. And I just think in my experience and the little bitty time that I have been exposed to CMLL, the women's matches are like brutal compared to the men's matches. The men's matches can get raw and kind of rough, but the women's matches are brutal. And I love it. It's just,
Yeah, and this match was a great example of that.
Yes. Oof.
10 minutes, there's just like, all right, there can only be one winner, I should say. But geez Louise, I don't even know where to start. Like, just everything was so fast paced. Everything was just off the walls. Also, I'm gonna say this for every match, and I don't care, but presentation to me matters sometimes. Like, even entrances add that fresh element of like me getting excited for this match. And every single woman on this show had some sort of presentation that I love.
Yes.
So Nelly, we gonna get to you because girl, I think I'm in love. But geez, these two, yes.
Yeah, I mean the match started off with them going straight down to the mat, showing some technical wrestling, trading submission moves back and forth, and then match relampagos are only 10 minutes, so it's you got to hit that cast pretty fast. So they it felt like for a good portion of the beginning of the match, once they came up off the mat, the Lady Metal was on the defensive. Valkyria seemed to be, out muscling her and whatnot. Valkyria hit this beautiful tope, taking him outside of the ring. But then, we had a turnaround where Lady Metal started to come back. She hit this beautiful plancha off the top turnbuckle, going outside of the ring. It was ridiculous. And then Lady Metal did this crazy, Valkyria was running at her in the turnbuckle and she jumped up over Valkyria and then grabbed Valkyria and turned it into what is it, the backbreaker, the backstabber move. So it just like they were trading such great technical moves, but in the end, we had Valkyria was able to get Lady Metal into a really sick looking armbar, and was able to get the submission from Lady Metal, where Valkyria won our first match of the night in the Triunfo Ruda, I should say.
Absolutely. And homie to the channel now, Agent Lo-Fi. Even though Lady Metal lost, I agree with you. The few times I've seen Lady Metal since we've been watching CMLL, I think this is her best showing so far.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much. But this was a fun one. I definitely agree, Adolfo. And then
real quick
for it.
before we go into
Uh-huh.
the next one, I'm going to be tonight will probably be my talking about the big picture. You know, I have to say, I think this whole evening, because it was just the Amazonas, I think all of the women outshone themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like there was no competition with the men's matches. There was just them. It was like, you know, there are no men in the room. It's just the women. And I think that for some reason, the energy felt different.
Yeah.
Because it was just all women's matches and it was only that. And I think that added to the women basically showing out. They're like, look at us.
Totally.
We don't have to
Yeah.
compete with the guys. So let's just show everybody what we've got, how important we are to this culture of wrestling. And I was in awe of this whole event. And this
Yep.
this would have been one I would love to have been sitting in the front row with.
Oh, totally. And kind of to piggyback off this and not to dwindle too long on it, but the other thing that was great was there was very little like spots and no storylines. You know, it was literally just, this is women's wrestling. This is the spotlight on the Amazonas. Go, you know? And I felt that, you know, I was talking about this with Alice earlier today. Sometimes like storylines can really like over cover the wrestling. You know, here it was just, you know, beautiful Amazonas doing their thing, and you know, it was great. So, all right, Mikey, go. Sorry.
No, that's totally okay. And you know what? This is fantastic. I loved it. It was great. This was a phenomenal opener. And then, woo, child! They did not waste no time with the next one because next
Right?
up, ooh. So before we get into the specifics, so this was the Copa de Irma Gonzalez 2025. So let me introduce the participants, and then I'm going to tag in Adolfo, who's going to, give us some lucha lore, if you will. So we had 8 Amazonas in this match, which included and was comprised of La Catalina, La Jarochita, Princesa Sujet, Metallica, Dark Silhouette, Reina Isis, my girl, Amapola, and Candela. So, I'm gonna tag in Adolfo. So, Adolfo, why don't you give us a little bit information of who this tournament is named after?
This is it.
Just the tip, just the tip. There we go. There.
Thank you.
Boop. There we go.
So
Will
this
was
is the
confused. What?
So this was the Copa Irma Gonzalez. Who is Irma Gonzalez? I'm new to Lucha Libre and CMLL. Who is this person? So Irma Gonzalez was a luchadora, a female wrestler in Mexico. She was a pioneer. She wrestled from 1950 to the 1990s. During that time, she did have, her main ring name was Irma Gonzalez, but she did have other characters that she played during that time. And you know, she a lot of people within the lucha world considered her the greatest luchadora to ever wrestle. So and she was there too. Before we get into it, she was there. She was in a wheelchair, you know, looking like the little abuelita that she probably is, and she was, you know, loving it and waving to the fans. So yeah, and it was also cool because each contestant that came out, so they put Irma Gonzalez next to the stairs coming down onto the ramp before they got to the ring, and each contestant that came out like would come down at the bottom of the stairs and like turn and like address Irma Gonzalez and like, you know, like give her a bow or so, you know, some sort of sign of respect, and then, you know, hit the ring. So it was It was definitely cool. Definitely cool. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I appreciate you giving us that information because it's important because we're still new to all of this. And we're learning more about this within like what we're about to we're not even at a year yet. We're still about like maybe a little over half a year, but the amount of things we have learned, like all the different tournaments, like we learned about that the wrestling schools in Mexico get to participate ever so often with the Torneo de Escuelas.
Mhm.
We have the Amazonas Grand Prix, Men's Grand Prix, like it is fantastic, and I think it's also important too to learn a little bit about the history of CMLL as it is the oldest company of any wrestling federation on the planet. So I loved it, and oh my god, I don't even know where to begin. So, Adolfo, I am also going to put you on the spot a little bit because
Sure.
this was the Copa Irma Gonzalez,
Yep.
but it was a cybernetico match for it. So why don't you tell the folks at home who might be asking themselves, what is a cybernetico match?
Well, so a cybernetical match. The first you start with a little tournament, right? We and so for example, in this we had 8 Amazonas, right? They start wrestling, and then it if you're thrown over the top rope, then you are put on the B side. And then the last 4 standing, so the last half that's standing in the ring, they're put on the A side. So then you get split into team A and team B. And then what happens is as per the way that you were thrown out, or how, if you were the first person to throw someone out, you start in the ring, and it's go time. um you go in, you have to either submit or pin the person you're wrestling, and it's just like constantly people coming in, people going out, people coming in, people going out, and you whittle it down until you have the final 2, and then the champion, and that is a torneo sabénico.
Thank you, Adolfo. I appreciate it. So, okay. So, like, there are too many good moments to do a play-by-play because I'm gonna be honest, boys. I have no notes. I literally took no notes during this whole entire match. I couldn't because they in and out, in and out, in
Yeah.
and out. Oh god, it was so good.
So I got your cliff notes real quick.
Do it.
So with the starting tournament, right? Or yeah, with the starting tournament, you had the first one out was Jarochita, followed by La Catalina, followed by Princesa Suhui, and then followed by Candela. So that is Team B: Jarochita, La Catalina, Princess Jujuy, and Candela. And then Team A was Metallica, Amapola, Dark Silhouette, and Reina Isis. So then, it's the wrong page. All right. Um, so do we want to talk about that first, or do you want me to just go into the eliminations?
Let's go into the eliminations
Got you.
because yeah.
Okay, so now we're on to the next part of the Torneo Cybernetico. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run down the eliminations. So the first person that was eliminated was Metallica, who tried to do a 450, but Haruchita dodged it and got Metallica into a submission hold, and Metallica submit. So she was out. That was the first one. The next person out was Candela. Amapola got this crazy looking like sharpshooter arm thing that she was holding her like off the ground with. Again, submission. So Candela was out. Um, the next was Amapola, where you had La Catalina um, jumps So La Catinelli, she's fighting Amapola. She gets Amapola like on the rope. She delivers the flying ass, then delivers a 616, and then a plancha from the top rope for the 1-2-3 pin. Amapola out. Then you had Dark Silueta come in with Princess Suhui. This one happened really fast, but we're gonna call it the most electrifying move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up, where Dark Silueta pinned Princess Suhui. Then uh, Reina Isis, beautiful plancha off the top rope onto La Catalina, pinning La Catalina for the 1-2-3. Um, La Jarochita then is facing off against Reina Isis. Does this like I can't remember the name, but it's where like they hook and then slam them into the mat, and then it turns Reina Isis over for the 1-2-3 pin. So this makes it your finalists are going to be La Jarochita versus Dark Silueta. The winner is Dark Silueta, who is your 2025 Copa Irma Gonzalez champion. So that was the rundown of the eliminations. Back to you, Mikey. I mean, I have some more notes. I have some quick notes if you want me to finish up.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Why not?
Okay. So, in true form, the Torneo Cibernetico, very fast paced, a lot of action going on, both in and outside of the ring. The ones that stood out to me, Candela. I've only seen Candela now maybe twice on my screen, and this I felt was a very strong showing for her. She was very agile. She was flying all over the place. So it made a very great showing. So Candela stood out to me. In the end, where you had La Jarochita and Dark Silueta, great ring sense because La Jarochita had her pinned a bunch of times, but Dark Silueta had the sense to either grab the rope or get her foot on the rope to break the pin or to stop the pin. So good on her. She very ring minded in that ending. And yeah, the submission moves just looked fracking brutal. you know.
It was, oh my goodness, like I loved it. And you know what, Agent Lo-Fi? Listen, this is the homie to the
Yeah, she does.
channel. He's
Yeah.
been watching Lucha Libre for a very long time, as we learned through me and JBL's conversation with Agent Lo-Fi during the Revolution. But Candela is extremely new, but she has a lot of potential. I cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
yeah, go
to,
ahead.
to be frank, I have seen a lot of improvement from the last match that I saw Candela and this match, and it's only been a month, but just like in her presentation and in her ring sense. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds for her. You're muted.
There we go. Me and Adolfo have been doing a lot of talking. So, Will, I want to get your thoughts of this. This was all of ours collectively, the first Copa de Irma Gonzalez. So, what did you think of this tournament cybernetico match that we got with all 8 of these Amazonas?
I thought this was a great group to put into this. I thought they all complemented one another in their styles, in their aggressiveness, in their you could tell the ones who had beef with each other, which was great. And of course, I love me some La Catalina. I love her. I mean, I actually a lot of these women. I actually love all of these women. I'm not as familiar with like Metallica. I've seen her once, I think, but I'm not 100%. I'm not fully aware of her. Candela, I was not aware. I don't think I've ever seen Candela before. Amapola, I don't think I've seen Amapola either. And there was one other one. Maybe that was it. That may have been it. So I wasn't 100% familiar with those three women. But as always, now I want to know more about them. I want to see them more because I like Candela. I was like, wow. Can we get more of her? I would have enjoyed that. I thought all of them. Again, I didn't take any notes from this one either. I just watched it. I was like, and honestly and truly, through the whole evening, I didn't take much. I literally just watched.
Same.
I was just blown away by the amount of talent CMLL has in their Amazonas. Like truly, and it's a little overwhelming. It's like, I'm not gonna lie. I think if I was sitting in the front row of this event, I think I would be a little overwhelmed by the amount of talent that in the Amazonas that CMLL has.
You would be procuring all the sweats like you did with Julia instead of
seriously, I would be soaked. I mean, truly, because all of this, the whole evening, it was like me on the edge of my seat for a lot of it. And I really love the setup of this because this was we've seen this setup before, though, haven't we?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Just like on a bigger scale.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
With 10 people, with 12 people, etc., etc.
Okay, cool. Because when you were explaining it, I was like, wait a minute, that sounds so familiar. Yeah. And I was like, visually watching it, I was like, we've seen this before, right? So I didn't know. I guess it's just because this one was named specifically for Irma Gonzalez. But I love this style, this setup of match. I wish we would do more of these in American style wrestling. This sort of like, eliminating, I know we see them like at pay-per-views and things like that, but this is such a fun. I just love watching this.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just so fun to see who gets eliminated first.
Yeah.
The team, you see the people teaming up with each other to get rid of somebody, and then they turn on each other, and it's just wonderful to watch, and I just loved it. So yeehaw for these ladies.
It is also just to point out, I believe Candela is the rookie of these females.
Really?
Because all these female like collectively, I think, and I need to check my math on this, but I think that
sorry,
between all these women, you have at least like 60, 70 years worth of wrestling experience.
Wow. I did not know that. I did not.
Yeah.
She didn't wrestle like a rookie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll give it to her. I thought she had been there for a while. So way to go. And I'm okay with all the torneos. You bring them all. I'll watch them because I love them. I'll never get tired of them.
Yeah. This was, again, I have no notes. I love this so much. This was fantastic. Oh, it's so good. But then it keeps going, y'all.
Yeah, because after that, we have a championship match.
Oh my God. Okay, so remember earlier in the show, I said that presentation matters to me. Sunelli. We got to talk about that outfit, girl. I was just like, what in the femme fatale is this? I am here for it. Like,
with the hat and the
crushed velvet, might I add. I'm like, you know how hard it is to wrestle in any type of velvet? Anybody who knows fashion, theater, whatever it is, knows that velvet is not an easy material to work with, nor is it an easy material to wear well. But homegirl came in with the hat and she wrestled with the velvet glove the entire time too. I was just like, I think I'm in love, you guys. Oh God, the presentation was so good. But Adolfo, as you said, this was a championship match, and geez Louise, these girls brought it too. I was like, oh my gosh. And not to spoil and jump ahead, but we have a new champion by the end of this. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we saw a title change happen.
Yeah. Which I'm not. I gotta rewatch it. I'm not 100% sure what that was the intended ending, or if it was an audible that was called. Because if I felt that it caught everyone kind of off guard. I don't know. But we'll get to that. So yeah, this was for por el Campeonato Nacional Femenil. So this is the National Women's Championship of CMLL. In English, sounds so boring in English. Anyway. So at the start of this
Most things
match,
do.
yeah, I mean, yeah, true. So at the start of this match, Sanelli was taking it to India Seuss, getting her down on the mat, um, and really controlling it. India Seuss does come back. She hit this beautiful moon flip outside of the ring. She was earlier when Sanelli was in control. She had tossed Indian Seuss into the I believe the announcers table, or like the barricade. She tossed Indian Seuss into the barricade, and then Indian Seuss reciprocated and tossed Sanelli into the barricade. Then we had India towards the end. India Seuss hits this crazy leg lock thing, and this is why I'm kind of thinking it might have been it was the intended ending, just Swift, because Lucha refs are Lucha refs. Fair. Well, they made it look like it was a surprise. So India Seuss got this crazy looking like leg lock thing on Sanelli. Sanelli taps out, and India Seuss is now your new Campeonato Nacional Femenil.
Again, I have no notes. I really like this match, but as Agent Lo-Fi pointed out, I'm gonna take his word for it because
Yeah.
Agent Lo-Fi has watched years upon years of Lucha Libre wrestling, which is also, we learned that during our Revolution watch along. But also, I love that phrase. We're gonna put it on a t-shirt. Lucha refs are Lucha refs.
Yeah, Lucha refs, Lucha refs.
I love it. We're gonna put that on a t-shirt. So, but I really like this match. I really did. And as we said, we have a new champion
Yeah.
out of this. So, Will, any additional thoughts to all this?
I was surprised that we got a new champion. I mean, it did surprise me. I was like, oh, wow. Yay. I mean, I'm always excited when we get a new champion. But it did. It kind of surprised me. I didn't see it coming. Normally you can see these things coming, but I did not see this one. And I really do like India Seuss. She's great. Yes. And I think she will be a great champion, like a representative.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And so again, this was fantastic. I love this. And Agent Lo-Fi, as you also said too, like, this was a really good performance from Sanelli. And also, India has always kind of been that girl too. Like, the last couple of weeks, I was like, hold the phone. I think I might have to add her to my roster. Like, she's been showing up and showing out for the last couple of weeks. Oh man, so good.
I think she's just coming back from injury or something like that.
I think so too, because if I remember correctly, she's been out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So this was fantastic. We have a new champion, but we're not done with quote unquote championships, so to speak. We'll talk about our main event. But now we move into matches that would determine, number one contenders for some other championships. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting us know, Agent Lo-Fi. She took a break for a bit. So I am happy to see her there. But Okay, so we got to break this down into 3 parts because we have an elimination style tiny tournament or mini tournament, if you will,
Yep.
to determine one of the teams that would be going into a finals to be, to determine who's going to walk out as new CMLL women's champions. So let's break this down.
Tag team
Tag team
champions.
champions. Correct. Thank you. So let's talk. So there are 3 matches that happened.
Ooh.
So we had 4 teams. So let's talk about the first match. So first and foremost, Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost can be a tag team anytime because I'm gonna be honest, I have missed Lucha Libre Taya Valkyrie. She
Yeah.
is so good. But this is the first matchup. So the way that this is set up is that winners will go of round 1, if you will go on to face the winners of the following match, and then the winner of that match, our number 1 contender, go into the final ones, I should say. Anyways, Adolfo, go for it.
Yeah, but before we got here, we had another mini tournament where the teams were Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost representing AEW, Heda and Olympia, Kira and Scotty, and then Johnny Robbie and Viva Van representing NJPW, right? So what they did in this little mini tournament to figure out who was going to wrestle who in this part, they drew names. Tornadoes inside of tornadoes. So good. All right, it's so good. It keeps you on your toes, man. It keeps you on your toes. Anyway, so they drew names, and one representative from each team came out. And they had a little torneo cibernetico where the first 2 that were tossed over the top rope, they would be wrestling each other. Those teams would be wrestling each other's first, and then the last 2 that were remaining would be the next 2, the 2 that would be wrestling after that. So we had the representatives were Hera, Taya Valkyrie, Scotty, and Johnny Robert. And Hera was tossed out first by a crazy kick by Taya Valkyrie. Like the way she got her leg up was ridiculous. And then, not to be outdone, Scotty did what Scotty do and just muscled the crap and tossed Taya Valkyrie out. So that sets up this match. Mikey, you still there? Or
I'm sorry, I am still on this
He's
phone
on the
call.
phone.
Keep going, I promise.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'll
Alright.
change slides. I'll be right back on camera, I promise.
Cool. So that set up this match where you had Olympia and Hera versus Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost from AEW. Your winners for this match was Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost. I thought that this was such an electrifying match. It just Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost. I mean, they have done time in Mexico. They did a lot of training in Mexico, so they know the feel, they know the rhythm. Yeah, I wish these matches were longer. Even though they had no time limit, they were kind of short, and this was getting towards the end of the show, so they kind of had to condense it. But yeah, this match was so electrifying. You had Lady Frost just doing her, backhand flips and her cartwheels, and you had Tile Valkyrie just chopping the shit out of everyone.
I know.
I don't know if anyone else caught it, but there was a sequence where Lady Frost did a back handspring into a headlock head toss onto Hera, right? But Hera was, I don't know if she came out of the turnbuckles too slow or whatnot, but Lady Frost the control this woman has ridiculous
Yeah.
because she hits the back handspring, right, and actually like holds it until Hera is in range and then
Mhm.
snaps it like a trap and snags her. It was beautiful. I don't know if anyone else caught that. I caught
Yes.
that. I thought it was awesome.
The acrobatics and gymnastics of this match were outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to be outshone though, Hera was flying all over the place as well. Olympia, she is power. She is grace. She smashes you in the face. She and she's agile too. For someone with that much muscle mass, she's really agile. She did this
Yeah.
crazy thing where Taya Valkyrie was in the corner sitting down and she jumped on Taya Valkyrie's shoulders, and then Hera dropped Lady Frost within range, and Olympia does a moon flip off of Taya Valkyrie's shoulders and lands on Lady Frost. It was awesome. But yeah, so your first match, your winners are Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost. The Before Mikey takes it back, the other thing I wanted to say about this match is Lady Frost and Taya Valkyrie especially, she seemed to be so outwardly thankful to be at Arena Mexico. It was to me, it was really touching, because a lot of times wrestlers from they have a lot of wrestlers that come from other promotions, especially now with CMLLs. Um, Agreements with NJPW and AEW and and Stardom and Rev Pro. So you do have a lot of outside talent that comes in and wrestles, but this is the first time that I saw outside talent that is established in in AEW and in ROH, where they thanked the crowd, hell, it looked like Taya Valkyrie was almost going to start crying. She was like so happy and giddy to be there. So I thought that just added to the match. So go ahead, Mikey. Sorry. You're muted.
I wish I would pay attention more. Anyways, so this was the first match. Taya and Lady Frost would be moving on to the quote unquote finals of this night. So let's get into the second match though. Jiminy H Christmas, y'all. So this was the second match. Winner would go on to face Lady Frost and Taya, but this was Skadi and Kira taking on Viva Van. And newer to the New Japan dojo is Johnny Robbie.
Yep. I
The-
think,
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt. I believe the announcers were talking that that Red Velvet was supposed to have been in Johnny Robbie's spot, but something happened to Red Velvet. I'm not 100% sure, but she couldn't make it, so that's why Johnny Robbie slid into that spot. So
I love it. First and foremost, can I say every time I see Viva Van more and more here in CMLL, she just gets
I
better
know.
and
Oh
better
yeah.
and better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
really is holding it down for the New Japan dojos out here, man.
Yeah. Totally. And can we talk about the ring gear of all the females in this match in
Yes,
particular? You
ma'am. They
know,
killed it.
Scotty and Kira coming out with the freaking blinking light, like cape tassel thing. Stop it. It was so good. It was so good.
I love this match. This was a fantastic match too. And as Agent Lo-Fi says, is that not with the serious injury, but I also had read that Red is injured, but not like out of action where she has to vacate her Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship, but she'll be back because Red is also very good here in CMLL as well. Like, just saying. But
totally.
so this was a phenomenal match. Again, I have no notes. I thought this was a lot of fun. Scotty and Kita do end up winning this one. So now let's talk about this third one because everything kind of just ties in together, right? So now to figure out who earns the first of 2 spots to compete for the tag team championships down the line, we have Taya, Valkyrie, and Lady Frost versus the winners of the first match, taking on Scotty and Kita, the winners of the second match. And this was bonkers. Like, this was excellent. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was impressed, but I'm also low-key mad. I'm like, why can't we get this Taya in the States? But,
Oh, I know.
I will say I'm a little disappointed because I wanted La Huerta Loca to be playing it here, but that is okay. I will still bump that song in my car. But damn, this was good.
I swear, Arena Mexico brings out like the best of talent. I mean, look at it. Azúcar, Rocky. Help me out. I'm having a diabetic moment. I can't remember his last name.
Rocky Azúcar Romero.
Yeah, Rocky Azúcar Romero. He's just fabulous when he's down in Mexico. Kyle Fletcher, when he was down, he was, I still will die on this hill that his heel persona he started crafting when he was down in Mexico. Claudio Castagnoli, we saw a completely different side, I felt a much better side when he was down there. So yeah, it just like I don't know, I don't know, maybe they have carte blanche to like be the character that they want to be down there. But yeah, yeah, there it was. Soberano Jr. taught him everything. Exactly.
Seriously.
Right? Right? But yeah, this match was fantastic, which point of information, that's where I stopped taking notes.
We love to see it. This was fantastic. And I'm kind of excited that Taya and Lady Frost are going to have earned the first spot in to be the ones to try to see if they can win the tag team championships. Like, that makes me excited.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If they do end up winning, I hope that they keep them more in Mexico and defending the belts down in CMLL. And not what has happened before where the belts come up to the States and are, hardly, maybe once in a while go back down to CMLL. So, Will, what'd you think about this match?
Loved it. It's like, I mean, I didn't take any notes through this whole thing because I literally just sat here with my hands under my legs, just like, wow. I mean, it's just I'm blown away. I'm blown away by the talent in the women's in the Amazonas. I'm blown away by it. And don't get me wrong, the men are great too, but I am just day in and day out. Every time we see an Amazonas match, I am blown away by the amount of talent these women have. Even the ones that like the rookies or whatever. I mean, they just exude this, like, I just want to follow every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I literally, like, I'm sitting right now. I've literally got my hands under my thighs. I'm just sitting here and I was like that the whole time. I was just like, give me more. I wanted these to be longer. I wanted, and I know why a lot of these had to go short because of time, but I was just like, gosh, I just want more. I mean, at the end of it, when it was all over, I was like, can we have another hour of this? Because I could totally sit here for another hour.
Right? Yeah,
So,
totally.
this was great.
Yeah, and I will complete Agent Lo-Fi. You are not the only one. I selfishly want both Lady Frost and Ty Valkyrie to stay down in Mexico because they had such great pop. Well, I mean, you heard my spiel earlier, so go ahead, Mikey.
So Taya, Valkyrie, and Lady Frost have earned the first spot, and whoever wins this upcoming Viernes Espectaculares, because we have the second round, so to speak, will go on to face these two in the future for the tag team championships. But we move on from this into what is our main event. Like, holy shit, this was my favorite match of the entire night.
Why they got to do this to me?
So
both these women have my heart.
Okay,
why you
so
got to do this to me, CMLL?
Adolfo, welcome to how me and Wilt felt last night during Julia and Stephanie. Because this is the same. They did it to me twice this week with this one and Stephanie and Julia on NXT. But so this, oh my gosh, like I don't even know where to start. Okay, so this was for a championship. So Mundial Femenina de CMLL, or the CMLL Women's Championship, if you will.
World Championship.
World Championship. Thank you. So this had our champion in Zeuxis taking on the challenger of Persephone and
Puerto Rican Power.
The Puerto Rican Power. Yes. And all I have to say is, damn, this shit was fire.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's great. Ooh. Good to know. The finals are at H2L. Ooh, this is gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry. Thank you, Agent Lo-Fi. Back to this match. Fire. Amazing. Spectacular. That Lady Gaga meme is like spectacular, amazing. Like women's wrestling really be hitting it for me this whole entire week. Oh, thank you, Agent Lo-Fi, for agreeing with us. Easily the best of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Can we
go for it?
Can we just really quick talk about the rise of Persephone over the last year? You know, she is. Can you flash the graphic real quick, Mikey? Because I don't have access to it. But
I got you. Hang on. Let me get there. Let me find it. It's somewhere here.
Because if we're anything here at Los Lobos de Lucha, we're stands for Persephone.
Oh yes, you mean this one?
There it is, Reina de Nuestros Corazones, 2024. And that's when she won the Universal belt. But yeah, you know, she over the last year has just been on this. I don't want to call it meteoric rise, but she's just been hot, you know. And Zoxys has proven herself to be a consummate worker, consummate great worker. You know, she will fight anyone, anywhere, and she gives it her all. And damn, if she's just not like power and agile, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. It's very surprising to see how much
Right?
CMLL has gotten behind her.
Well, think about it this way too. Like, not only is she the Universal Champion, but CMLL has such a trust in her to represent the entire company when they went to Wrestle Dynasty in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, of all CMLL women at that time back in January, Persephone won the right to represent CMLL in that fatal four-way. And damn, she had a great showing because it was her versus Willow Nightingale, Momo Watanabe, and Athena. So those are already 4 stacked women from different companies. And I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting our CMLL rep to get pinned in that match, but she did not.
She did not.
She did not. So CMLL has backed Persephone, and it's definitely showing just those 2 instances alone. But damn, she's also just to me, she's a girl's girl of wrestling where yes, she is very beautiful, but she will also beat the bricks off you if she need be.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I might be into that a little bit, but I'm just saying. Listen, Persephone, like if you see this, which I highly doubt, you are a beautiful woman. I also don't want to be on the wrong side of you in a bar fight.
Yeah, right.
I want you defending me.
The other interesting thing about this match is that they are both rudas.
Right? That's the other thing too.
Yeah. So, and they have like worked together in the past, So it was, it was a great match. Seeing them get at each other. Um, yeah, no notes, man.
All right, now we got to give the whole entire floor to Will because listen, Persephone is his girl. So, Will, I want you to tell us about this main event. How did you feel about it?
Was not prepared. Very much like Stephanie and Julia. I was not ready for it because I didn't realize that it was going to be Persephone. When the minute they said her name, I was like, "Oh my god!" I may have had a bit of an anxiety attack.
Did you also get the sweats?
I did. I sweated through this one. Literally, it was like, "Hey, I got to finish CMLL." When we were done with NXT, and I went and I watched, and I was just like, "Oh god." It's like, why? They did it to me twice. It's like, but yes, Agent Lo-Fi, I am a huge Persephone fan. I want her to rule the world. She and Stephanie Vacour could rule the world, and I would be okay with it. I would be a servant to them both. Truly. Oh man, she's fantastic. And I don't know, maybe it's just the way they build female wrestlers down in Mexico, but the charisma that exudes from them, the character, I mean, it's just like in like Stephanie Vacour. She walks out and your eyes just go to her. See, for me, that's Persephone. The minute she walks out, I'm like on her. And I never leave her. I'm just like, because she's just exudes this sort of confidence and charisma and this sort of like either follow me or I'll beat your ass type of thing. And I'm like, girl, I'm on you. I follow you. I will follow you wherever you want me to go.
Mm-hmm.
I will be a part of the Persephone army. I will. So man, she's amazing. So is Zuxis. I mean, they're both great. They're both amazing, but
we know where your loyalties lies.
She's my girl. She is my girl. And anyone who goes against her, I'm just like, girl, I'll help you take them down if you want me to. I'll throw some marbles in the ring or something. You tell me what you want me to do.
We're going to put this in the category of willing to overthrow a medium-sized to tiny nation for you.
Right?
I will literally showgirl somebody for her.
Okay, so Agent Lo-Fi, you be speaking facts too, because I can't even imagine what the training regiment or the training schools for these wrestlers in CMLL, but it seems like they're doing a fantastic job. And they are churning out amazing talent, like for reals.
Suffice to say, Zoxys does retain her championship belt, extending her reign. So
I will say this: I need CMLL to run it back at some point.
Oh, I'm sure they'll run it back.
Seriously,
I'm sure it'll happen.
I do want to show this picture though before we get into the preview of this upcoming episode, because what a freaking powerful statement right here,
right?
Holy,
that's awesome!
Yeah,
that is so awesome.
America and other people, they need to learn from this. We don't see this in American style wrestling. Like if we do, it's rare. Never do we see all them bring out the entire roster of women to go, look what we have here. Look at the amazing talent that we have in these amazing women. And we want to celebrate them. I didn't see that at all, and and that's a shame because we've got some incredibly talented women in American style wrestling, and though in some of the companies they are highlighted better than others, I don't think they get anywhere near what these women at CMLL get when it comes to appreciation, attention, that sort of thing. Because this is a beautiful picture. This is a picture I would frame and hang on my wall.
Yeah. And Arena Mexico was sold out.
Yeah,
Every
that's the
time
other thing. Yeah.
that camera panned out in the audience, every seat there was a butt in every seat, and they were having a good time. So the those shills that are gonna be like, oh, they're women's wrestling, wrong. You're wrong. I'll die on that hill. This is proof of it. Give the women a show and just let them wrestle. You don't, like I said, you don't even need stories. Just let them wrestle, man, because that's what they did here, and it was great. So, very powerful picture. Very powerful picture.
Oh, absolutely. So this is a powerful picture. So now we're gonna wrap up by previewing this upcoming week's as Viernes Espectacular. So also, I love the touch that we changed the rope colors for this episode too. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
great.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into this upcoming week because we also have a lot of action going on in all the divisions. So first and foremost, your boy here gets to eat good because our first match of the evening is going to be a Lampago match, which we'll see Astral versus my boy Robin. So happy to see him come back to Viernes
Nice.
Espectacular. So love him to death. In our second match, we get the team of Futuro, Max Star, and Valiente Jr. taking on the team of Okumura, El Copadre, and Utani. So, I was like, yo, we're getting international wrestlers up in here. Sign me up. So
That's what's
Utani
up.
is going to be great. I love it so much. Then in an evento especial de Rudos versus Rudos, we get the team of Los Infernales, so Averno, Mephisto, and Euphoria, versus Terrible B, Cavenario, and El Elemental. So these are also some newer folks too, which I'm excited about. It's gonna be great.
I'm so ready to see Euphoria. Oh man,
Oh,
I
so good.
I think he's even more scary with his mask off.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so Agent Lo-Fi filling us in. Utani on Friday, so hyped. Oh, wait, hold up. He got his start in Banditos Big Lucha promote. Listen, everybody knows I'm a Bandito stan. Like, I love Banditos so much. And the same with El Elemental. So I'm like, listen, if they're coming from Banditos promotion, like, this is about to be hype. But back to the action. So in our semi-main event, this is the second elimination match to determine, who's going to get the second spot and who will be facing Taya and Lady Frost for the tag team championships. So the teams are as follows. We have Zuxis and Dark Silhouetta, Juvia and La Charochita, representing one of my favorite promotions right now, Rev Pro, and is also tied to Michael Oku, who's one of my personal favorites too. We have Amira Blair and Zoe Lucas teaming up, so our international girls. And then rounding out our four teams is Amapola and Princesa Sujit. So that makes me super excited. But then it gets crazier, y'all, because in our main event, very interesting team ups here. We have the team of Místico, Angel de Oro, and Niebla Roja. So very interesting. But this is where it gets crazier because they are going up against Volador Jr., Rocky Azucar Romero, and Flip Gordon. Listen, Rocky and Flip on the same team is going to be utter chaos. But I'm messy, so I'm here for it.
Right. I mean, it's going to be messy enough with Angel de Oro and Niebla Roja on the same team as Mystico because, those three have been going at it for like the past month, So that's going to be, it's going to be a fun, very fun main event. I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
You're right, Ben. So I cannot wait. That is your preview for this upcoming episode of Viernes Espectacular, which unfortunately does bring us to the end of this week's episode. But man, this was a fun episode.
Yeah.
This was so good, and I cannot wait to review it again with my compadres here. So that is going to be it for us here at Los Lobos de la Lucha. So we round off the week. Tune in this Friday for our TNA review with myself and Will. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. So gents, I appreciate you being here and thank you. So this was good. This was good. In the words of Charlotte's Web, you done good, pig. You done good.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Also, I gotta shout out Agent Lo-Fi once again for coming through and helping and being our unofficial fourth co-host in this whole thing. So you
Indeed.
deserve your flowers and your praises and the claps. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. So Agent Lo-Fi and everybody else that tuned in this evening, thank you so much. We got to get up on out of here. So for myself, Adolfo, Will, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you Friday for TNA, but until then, sayonara, adios, and have a good evening.